And we're alive. Time to send out the notifications. I'm your host, Commander Fox of Ronan Fox Armored Security. You're watching the Fox Republic, and I am back on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries this time. You know, that's right. We are done with the way of the clans, the Patui. We hate the clans, and we are back to being in the inner sphere. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Sheriff Crab. How are things going?
Going pretty good. Once again, very glad to be back. Really enjoyed last stream. We're back in Mercs. The clan life is not the life for me, to be quite honest. So yeah, it feels real nice to be back.
Yeah, you know, I could say it might have been it was an interesting visit. It's like, okay, you know, we went there and we did a thing. But you know, we're done with the thing, and now we're back to serious business. That's what it's all about. We're serious guys at the end of the day. After all, we got to have serious business. Today, though, we are going to be continuing where we left off, which is mainly just kind of allowing the timeline to advance, making money, and attempting to acquire some of these various battle mechs. Last stream, we did get an interesting mech. We got a rare Kintaro. It's a. I don't know if it's exclusive to the Draconis Combine, but it's like it's iconic to the Draconis Combine. The Kintaro 19. Which I believe was gifted to them from Comstar. We'll be giving that a try, and hopefully we can find some other things along the way. And in addition to that, we're hoping to find more bounty hunter stuff. That's a big goal. I want to make sure that we're knocking out some more of these bounty hunter things. Let's see what's going on down in Chatville, though. Where is my chat at? Oh, that... No, I didn't want to get rid of that. No, I gotta find it now. Darn it. That was something I wanted to show you guys, but okay, I found it. Okay, good. We're good. Crisis aborted. Anyways, down Chatville, Macronox says, "Good day, everyone. How's it going, Macronox?" He says, "Hope you're all doing well today." We're doing pretty good. Deadly Nightshade says, "Hello, Fox and Crab. How's it going?" It's going all right. How are you, Mr. Deadly Nightshade? Mohawk Productions says, "Caught a Fox stream." Yes, on 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, unless I decide to change things. 4 p.m. has been the time. 4 to 6. Anyways, let's reveal the stream, and we can get started. So... here we are in the mech lab, and we are going to be, once again, trying to knock out some of these objectives. I'm trying to get onto them, you know, earlier rather than later. And what I did was I went ahead and moved us over to the, I mean, you know, we're in space, so directions don't really apply. But in relationship to the orientation of the map of the inner sphere, we have head westward in the drought worlds. And that's because we want to duke it out with Linden's company while we're here. Why do we want to duke it out with Linden's company? Because we have not claimed them for bounty hunter intel. And so while they're here, we're going to do exactly that. There's a bunch of missions here, too. So hopefully we can find Linden's company multiple times, because even if we claim them the first off, we want a large opportunity to make sure that we do get Linden's company. But in addition to that, maybe we can fight Linden's company multiple times, because that's actually really easy money, especially in the beginning of the game. I definitely would suggest hunting down mercenaries, especially early, because they don't really make much of a difference. Like they don't interfere with the mission very much. Right here, though, look at that, right off the bat. So how do you know that mercenaries are going to be there? The very high C-bill payout, 4.3 million for such a low-level mission. That, and it's a 4 times operation. This could be a big deal. I don't know about you, Sheriff, but like 4 missions with mercenaries possibly appearing, maybe 2, maybe 3 times. Who knows how many times they're going to appear? I think that's going to be pretty big.
I agree. I think we should beat these nerds up.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So this is a 4 times multi-op. It will be an objective raid, and then a battlefield, and then a scorched earth. And then 3 of the missions have hazardous weather. So we're actually going to get 75% bonus rewards rather than the standard 25% on a multi-op. So this is, even though this is a very low-level mission, this could pay out quite big. So right now we're at, let's say, right now we're at 16 million C-bills. Let's just round it up, and let's see what we walk away with, despite this being a really low-level mission. So we're going to go in, and we're going to go with money. In fact, we probably have a little more than we need. That's fine, though. We're negotiated in.
Really kicking up, Commander. Your visibility will be limited out there.
We don't have a lot of tonnage here, but I don't think that really matters. I want to try out that new Kintaro. Oh, the Kintaro is currently being built. So I guess I'm going to try out the Blackjack again. We didn't really get a chance to use it.
It's just repairing. I think we used it in a mission, so I don't know if you want to wait. They also, one of the archers aren't ready. It's up to you. It probably won't matter, to be honest.
by time the 4 missions are up, I'm sure it will appear in one of these. I want to use it. I'm perfectly fine. I want to take out the Blackjack for a spin again. Okay, so that leaves us with 60 tons. We can do something with 60 tons. Let's go ahead and put somebody in. So yeah, these missions are pretty lightweight, and you know, we want to make sure we're staying within the boundaries so that, you know, we don't get a penalty or anything. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and in we go. All right. So Lyndon's company is expected to appear probably in the. I'm expecting him in the beginning.
With an objective raid targeting a number of warehouses within the area. Our client wants the building.
Only 2 objectives. Wow.
Destroyed. And is willing to generously compensate us for our efforts. We'll contact you with an evac point once all objectives are destroyed. Airstrike support has been granted.
Oh yeah, I did get us some airstrikes, for better or for worse. Because we ran out of points.
Target, urban mech.
Oh, an urban mech.
Target acquired.
Alright, so as a Blackjack, my job is to mainly destroy a lot of these lighter targets. That's my first priority. And then, of course, with the AC-2, I am able to outrange these enemies. This Blackjack has a little more ammo than it would normally have, because I removed the jump jets, of course. I was actually thinking about considering keeping the jump jets. But I decided against it. I was like, yeah, you know. I was thinking, you know, maybe I could get into a sniping perch or something, but, you know. I ultimately went against it because I wanted more ammo. I wanted to be able to fire those AC-2s the entire mission.
That's funny, we actually don't have to destroy the factory. I just blow the factory to pieces.
Yeah, I just like destroying them, to be honest.
Objective down.
You remember when they were really hard to destroy?
Yes, I do remember. And then now they're just like tinfoil, like just paper.
Yeah, they used to be one of the harder objectives in the game, but now that they've been nerfed, they're actually probably one of the easiest demolition objectives.
Definitely.
The only thing easier would probably be one of those, you know, kind of unusual demo objectives where it's just a really small objective to begin with.
Yeah, like the little farms, the little green places, they're always really easy.
Yeah, like those are probably the only ones that are easier. I mean, look, we already flattened the entire building is basically destroyed. But before, they used to do weird things, like they would defy gravity. Like you would bring the walls down and then the roof would like still be standing. What the hell is that thing doing?
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that is some next level.
That was like, okay, I've heard of people doing like pop-up shots before, like using their jump jets to kind of like hop up and take a shot, but that is...
That's next level.
These independents have some unorthodox military doctrine.
Something to do out of war, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if your goal is to be as unexpected as possible, I never would have expected that. I mean, what in the physics engine causes those things to happen, I wonder?
It's a hovercraft after all.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of State of Decay, just because like in State of Decay, like wacky stuff like that would happen.
Yeah, it's like one of the funnier parts of the game. Mech Enjoyer, this is literally the first mission. This is mission numero uno.
Yeah, we have just gotten started. We are on the second objective of the first mission. But you can kind of tell how early or late you are based on the starting time, because I always start at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I decide to change something. But I haven't decided to change anything. So what did they want you to destroy in the last base?
Oh, the same thing, just little, like, bunkers. Like, little, like, sheds almost.
I kind of wonder, like, what was inside these bunkers that was so valuable?
People.
It's like, what is in these bunkers specifically that is specifically important?
Yeah, but, like, there's 3 of them, and they don't want us to destroy the 3rd one.
No,
well,
not
I'm
the...
not getting,
not
I'm
the
not
third
getting paid
one.
for it. Nope, I'm not getting paid for it. So,
Scratch that target.
That bunker needs to stay there.
yep. Yeah, pay me for it. They don't want to, like, destroy them, they just want to, like, inconvenience them. It's like a prank. They're, like, pranking them.
It's like the weirdest April Days Fool's Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a prank, man. There's no reason to be serious.
Acquired. Target destroyed.
Come on, nailed him.
These sulfur biomes are like, I don't know. I think they're kind of weird.
They're kind of
Like-
ugly.
Imagine being on a sulfur planet. It's like, what, does every day smell like farts or something? I mean, I guess you wouldn't be able to go outside without, like, an environmental suit, so maybe every day doesn't smell like farts. Oh,
Nope.
I forgot all about
Oh.
them.
We got pranked! They tricked us.
Oh, they had kind of like unique dialogue, too.
Commander, enemy dropship coming in right on top of you.
Looks on you, I'm gonna go under them.
So what do they got? They got a fire starter. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why you definitely want to fight the mercs in the beginning of the game, because these enemies are not really a threat, and you get a lot of money for defeating enemies that are really not a threat. There we go. Yeah, I think you guys are going to have a long ways to go to catch up. Oh, we got another mech.
At least he was gracious in defeat.
Yeah, a little unusual. Very enthusiastic at first.
Targeting updated.
I mean, I feel like one of the problems the AI has is that I just don't think they understand how to use extremely close range mechs, because, like, this fire starter was effectively 2 medium lasers. Like, this fire starter made no effort to get close enough to use the flamethrowers or the machine guns.
That's just, what is that? Just like a spider or something?
Yeah, it's like, they can use SRMs just fine. They can use AC-20 just fine, but they're not very good with machine guns and flamers. I feel like if the AI uses machine guns and flamers, it's kind of coincidental. Like, the AI just happened to go close enough, or you just happen to get close enough to them. They don't seem to make an active effort to really aggressively get into range for it. Which is why, even though the Firestar is a pretty dangerous mech, I've never really... Oh, there we go. Level 3 intel with the bounty hunter. We'll take it. I've never really viewed it as a big threat from the enemy's perspective, just because of their lack of piloting capabilities. Let's take the mechs, and then we'll roll the rest over. This is a ×4 multi-op. Big money, though. This is a very low-level mission. Look at the big money. 4.2 mil... Well, we got, like... Basically, we got 3.8 million C-bills on such a low-level mission because of that.
And some mechs
So...
too.
For leveling up the bounty hunter intel farther, we get 1.2 million C-bills, a brand new Firestarter A, 2 tier 4 medium lasers, 2 tier 4 LRM-5s, 2 tier 4 SRM-6s, and a tier 4 SRM. I don't know why they didn't give us 2. They only gave us 1, but 3 tons of SRM ammo, 3 tons of LRM ammo, and the Platinum Light
Mind the
color
weather,
scheme.
Commander. It'll compromise your visibility.
Let me go ahead and throw all of these in here. as well as that new fire starter, which that one is not one of the mechs that you guys voted for. Yes, we have a rare Kintaro, asks Teddy Bear. It is currently being repaired, though, so it's not yet ready. Let me see what the next mission is, though. The next mission is Objective Raid, and let me see how much pay we're going to get. We are getting 1.7 million, so I don't expect Lyndon to appear on this one. Once again, that being the hint. So yeah, the Kintaro is still undergoing its repairs. I'm going to use the flea. Yeah, I'm going to use the flea. I haven't used that in a while. Try to use something a little bit different each time.
I keep dying when I use it.
And then I'll bring them in. I'm not going to have them use a medium mech. They're not good enough to have a medium mech. There we go. Okay, they can go in these. And off we go. Is it a hero mech? No. It's just a... It is just a... It just has a rarity of very rare.
We've been hired to raid for supplies.
There's only one Kintaro hero mech. It's the Golden
Our
Boy.
employer has okayed the use of airstrike on this mission. Stand by for strike confirmation.
Bit of a beast.
It's a pretty nasty one. I believe it's the Coordinator's personal battle mech.
It's just a pity that it's slower.
Well, it's part of the reason why it has so much capacity, but yeah.
Yeah, true. We must remember to use our airstrike. We didn't use it in the last mission, and they don't roll over.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could maybe destroy an objective quicker. Something we've always tried to do is drop the artillery strike on a Leopard, but it's like we've never had good success with it.
It's been very
Tank spotted.
what? It's been very non-consistent.
Target acquired.
Yeah, I think it's just because it keeps wanting to target the Leopard, and because the Leopard moves around, it keeps resetting it. Okay, here we go. Let me,
Negative on the strike, Alpha 1-1.
Oh,
We are
it's not ready
go
yet. Well, I'm gonna ambush this
1-1.
urban
This
mech.
is Sierra 2-1. Strike support is ready and standing by. Over.
Oh, bumped into him. Got his arm. What do they want me to destroy here? Oh, this one is not a destroy. This is a grab. We got to grab the cargo. To me, this one always makes more sense because I'm like, okay, you want their stuff, so we're taking their stuff.
Always good to restock on
I barely bumped into that urban mech, and I'm already orange on center torso armor.
Yeah, it was like dark orange as well.
It's crazy, like, barely bump into it, and it's like, oh, you almost did. Because I even hit the brakes. I hit the brakes, and I didn't... I mean, obviously, the urban mech is going extremely slow. But I hit the brakes, and I bumped into him at, like, cruise speed, but it didn't matter. Anyway, so today we're going to talk a little bit about... I have prepped some things, and we are going to be talking a little bit about the news. In fact, let me go ahead and bring my news up so I can see what's going on. So we do have Battletech news for you. So first up... Russ Bullock, who I believe is, I don't know if he's the CEO of Piranha Games, but he's a high-ranking member at Piranha Games, says that there will be a New Game Plus option to MechWarrior 5 clans. He said this on the 28th of October, which is before the game even came out, meaning he's aware that the game has needed a New Game Plus, but unfortunately chose to not ship the game with New Game Plus. I don't know what you guys think about that, chat, but, you know, what do you think about that, Sheriff, or do you want me to give my thoughts first?
I mean, again, I'm not going to have a terribly great opinion of this. It just seems to be a very common thing for them to release this game with major parts missing, but I would say that is the modern world, unfortunately. We have accepted these standards, we keep paying for these games, despite the fact that they're not, you know, yet ready, and they're not, very well produced, so I guess we possibly only have ourselves to blame. But yeah, I think it's good that they're going to bring it in. I think it definitely needs it. I mean, if you're going to have a game with very little replayability, you need to at least bring something in, so I guess it's probably good that it's coming in at any point at this stage.
Yeah, so Teddy Bear asks the question, will this be a DLC? Yeah, probably. Expect to pay $20 for it, and then you'll get a refund on it later on. What I think about this is, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, so the game isn't even out yet, and you're aware that you're going to add in a new game plus. And you're going to add a new game plus in because you know that the game needs replayability. Why wouldn't you have that in the game? Like, why isn't that just in the game? Why do we need to add new game plus? Because once again, you're charging AAA prices. One of the things that makes a AAA game is that they're supposed to deliver, they're supposed to over-deliver. AAA games are supposed to, oh wow, this place is like, all this dirt everywhere. I wonder if I think that's a graphical glitch. There's like dirt all over the buildings.
Airstrike did that. Yeah,
But as I was saying, AAA games are supposed to give you more than you ask for. And they are charging AAA prices. Why is the game launching incomplete with AAA prices? That's my issue.
Oh, Mech.
Oh, yeah, we need to, we do need the salvage. Watch it, it's got a PPCX. So that's my first thought. Being, once again, to summarize, if this tweet was made in the 28th of October, before the game even came out, and he's aware that the game has replayability issues, why are you launching the game when it has clear replayability issues? That's my first question.
It just seems to be that that's the way games are released now, like, just bits missing, like, all left, right, and center. And, like, I don't know, are we as consumers to blame for this? We keep,
I'd say partially.
Buying it. Yeah, we keep buying rubbish. So, it's like, I don't know. Anyway.
I would say, like, it's always partially, I always feel the consumer is at least partially to blame. Because, like, we're supposed to be the as the people with the money, we are sort of the watchdog organization. Like, we are the ones who are supposed to, like, withhold our money if we don't like something. The next one is a Battlefield mission, and the pay looks really high, so I am expecting to get hit by the Mercs a second time, so I'm gonna probably run a little heavier. Is that, okay, the Kintaro is ready. So here's our rare Kintaro. What makes it unusual is its ferrofibrous armor, which, if you don't know, is a type of armor that weighs less. Like, gives you the same, basically you get the same amount of armor for lighter weight, essentially. The armor is more expensive to repair, though. That's not really that big of a deal, though. The cost of the armor is kind of an afterthought. That's not, the main thing, though, is that it'll drive people nuts, that it's very hard to, let me see if I can show you. It's very hard to get the mech to the exact tonnage. You'll see here that the mech has been customized to 54.99, and some people will be driven mad by that 0.01 tons that we could not optimize. That is just due to the fact that the ferrofibrous armor, it just has a different unit of armor to ton of weight ratio. Just the way it is. But so that was my first thought about the DLC. My second thought about the DLC is, let's say they add a new game plus. I mean, how much of a difference is that really going to make? By the time you get to the end of the game, there's enough resources that you can have a full lance or a full star of direwolves. So how much of a difference is it going to make? And I mean, you can already farm the upgrades if you wanted to. If you want, you could do. Oh, good, they're here immediately. Oh, because it's a war zone. Remember, we start with 16 million C-bills, so.
New target loaded. Target acquired.
She's kind of a dummy, I notice. Not the sharpest of the mercs. I mean, I guess they could attempt to stop us with, like, by other means, but, it just smacks of Solaris cringe dialogue.
job, Commander.
I don't
Those
know, I
Mechs
guess
will
you.
think twice before trying that again. Looks like you don't need evac anymore. See you when the mission's complete.
Welcome, Lycan Metal, Oken's Oni, Damaku, and Congrexus. We're just getting started. The question we're talking about right now is, we're giving our thoughts on Russ Bullock on the 28th of October said that there will be a New Game Plus DLC option added into clans, and we're talking about what we think about that. And earlier I said, why was this not added to the game? The 28th is before the release date of the game, so why didn't they just delay the game? Especially because charging AAA prices, not delivering AAA content. But my second issue is, suppose you do get this, you get the New Game Plus. I mean, how important is New Game Plus when you only have 16 mechs, and you already have more than enough resources to get a full star of direwolves? How much of a difference is New Game Plus going to make? Yes, it would allow you to use your... Oh, yeah, you're just flattening those. Okay, you got him, you got him. You got him, you got one. Yeah, you got the, You got the spider. I don't know if the poor spider deserved that, but he got it either way.
He just got orbital strike.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get what you. Sometimes you get what you don't deserve. Like some people believe in like a karma or something. I don't know. You don't know. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve. You just get exploded by artillery, even though you're like a scout mech.
He just got Cordera Perez treatment.
Yeah, we just went Edo on him.
There was something over here. Yeah, a couple of tanks. Probably need to go hunt them down.
So overall, let me see what chat thinks about it. So Happy Teddy Bear is not he doesn't seem too impressed by the idea of them adding in a New Game Plus. I know that it's zero. I don't care. I don't really care about the New Game Plus, and I'll tell you why. I don't need to play the beginning of the game with a direwolf or something like that. I mean, the only thing it would let you do is kind of if you wanted to just collect 5 of every mech or something, you just want to have this big ass collection. But I'm just why would I be? I'm just why I don't know. It's not like Mercenaries where it kind of feels fun to collect every mech because you're kind of on a hunt. It's
kind of pointless too because you can't drop the mechs anyway. Like in the beginning of the game, you must take 5 mechs with you. You can't
Oh, they won't let you. That's true.
Yeah, so you can't. It's not like you can bring a direwolf in anyway, but you have to bring 5 mechs. So until basically you can fit 100 tons plus another, so basically 180 tons, which is basically halfway through the game, you can't even use the direwolf anyway.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. They'd either have to change it where you can let some of your mechs sit on the bench.
Mission complete, Commander. Every kill from here out is
Well,
bonus pay.
we sent him to the Shadow Realm.
We did.
But don't get too overconfident.
So overall, I just don't see. I don't think New Game Plus is even a band-aid fix to the replayability problems of MechWarrior 5 clans. So, I just think it was a poorly conceived idea. That's my thoughts on it. Now, the news is not over yet. We still have more news. The second bit of news that we got is that Russ Bullock says that we can expect more maps and scenarios for the Horde mode in the DLC, as well as more options for the PvP arena. This was on Twitter once again, and on Twitter you have a character limit, I guess, unless you've signed up for a, the premium status. And look at all these mechs. We raked in a ton of mechs. That's a lot of mechs we just got. I'm gonna let the last 4 roll over.
Good.
And we got basically 3 million C-bills for knocking out Linden's company a second time like that. We started at 16. I mean, so I told you this is a very low-level mission. We started at 16 million C-bills. We're already up to 25 million, and we haven't even sold the mechs off that we had. Let me see what the next mission is. The next mission is a Scorched Earth. I think this is mission 3. No, this is mission 4.
This is the last one,
yeah. This is mission 4. The payout is pretty ordinary. It's 2.2 million. I don't think that's high enough to be Merc attacks, but who knows? Maybe not. I'm gonna use the Javelin High there. Actually, I'm gonna use a commando. I haven't used a commando in a while. Use a commando.
I'll run a commando as well.
So, you guys too down in chat, what do you guys think of, and I guess I'll hand off the question to you, Dr. Sheriff Crab, what do you guys think of more content for the Horde mode and more options for the PvP in the new DLC that they just recently made free?
It does make you wonder, are they going to make it, are they going to release that stuff free as well, or is that going to just be like now paid for content, which wouldn't be surprising, to be honest. I get, it's a case of, again, what you said about the last one, it's like, who kind of cares? I didn't really care about the PvP or Horde mode in the first place, so by adding even more of something I don't care about, I guess it's just more things for me not to be interested in. I wouldn't pay for it as it was. Put it this way, I didn't want to play it when it became free. I ain't gonna play it now either, to be honest. It would need to be very impressive, to say the least.
So, well, yeah, one of my first issues, without a doubt. So first off, Happy Teddy Bear says, bleh. So, you know, like that is not the sign of approval, to put it least. Macronax says, why would we want to play the same missions again? Like I said, that is absolutely one of the fundamental issues with the game. My first thing is, I kind of just don't want to play a Horde mode, which is maybe a little odd because I don't dislike Horde modes. But here's the thing, the campaign already is Horde mode. Like, the amount of enemies you have to kill. Like, you remember that one mission where you gotta go investigate the airplane that, or the dropship that got downed by the water, and there's just like, I don't know how many like companies of mechs we had to fight to destroy it. Like, to me, the game already feels like a Horde mode. It's like, there's just so many enemies in the first place. So like when they say we're adding a Horde mode, I mean, I guess you could say you're cutting the story out. But otherwise, I'm like, the game already has unbelievable quantities of enemies in it. Now, maybe it has the benefit, maybe the Horde mode adds some kind of like randomization where you don't exactly know what you're going to be fighting. But I don't know. I'm just like, maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy about it, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just not interested in a Horde mode. The other thing is, like, I mean, like, what about progression? Like, part of the fun of Mercenaries is the progression. Like, you know, you're getting your items, you're getting your upgrades, you're searching for new pilots, you're taking on your Cantina missions. You know, I don't know. I'm just not, this just doesn't like, I'm just not blown away by any of this. It's not that exciting. I'm gonna try to knock his leg off. I think I got his leg. I did overheat in the process. This sulfur planet is not doing good on my heat, let me tell you. I didn't get his leg. Wow. Now I got his leg. I gotta knock his right leg off. Right there. That didn't take him out? Alright, I'm gonna override my heat, because this is getting silly. It must be the other. That's his right leg. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. Now he's down. This was not the mech to choose for such a hot planet, let me tell you. Is there like any water nearby? There's got to be like a body of water or something.
Oh, he overheated me.
I'd love to, like, do something about him, but I have the issue where I'm also overheating. His left leg needs to go? Okay, his left leg is vulnerable. There we go. That is going to burn up my mech a little bit, but it's worth it. He's out of here. This is the disadvantage of overriding your heat. You know, I've already taken a good bit of internal damage, but I feel like my armor feels pretty comfortable.
Mine is not.
Alright, I'm gonna have them start destroying that thing while I move on to continue the base. I'm putting them on the Locust. But yeah, that's one of my issues, is that I'm like, I don't know, horde mode? I don't know. I'm not really excited about a horde mode. I feel like the game already has, like, I feel like the game itself is a horde mode. You know, unless there's also some kind of progression. Now, I didn't even download the DLC, so I don't know what is entailed inside the horde mode. But if there's no kind of, like, progression in it, then once again, I'm also kind of like, I don't know. And you could say, well, what about just playing it for the fun of the game? Well, once again, I kind of feel like I already had my fun of the game in the first time I played through the campaign.
Mission complete, Commander. I expect our employer to be very satisfied.
I wouldn't mind just
with
getting
this
out of here.
result.
Yeah, that's the
Evac
plan.
point for extraction.
I'm just gonna beeline it over. Dara, welcome to the show. So those are my opinions though on.
Component lost. Need defensive support.
That was just his unimportant arm, so he's fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna help them. I'm just gonna get out of here because this battlefield is not very good for this mech. This mech needs a bit more heat sinking for it. So overall, not impressed with the idea that the Horde mode is going to get more content. What about the PvP mode? I haven't heard really anything at all about the Clans Arena mode.
I just don't think the point of it either. It's just like not the content the game needs.
Yeah, I agree once again that this is not. I mean, it's like it should. You know. Okay, if you're gonna put it in the game, put it in the game because, like, you're charging $50 for it. But this content doesn't exactly light me on fire. Macronox says he thinks everyone will just use the same mech. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to have matchmaking or not. Like, some people, like, from what I've read, it was not clear on whether or not the PvP mode even has, like, matchmaking. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just not, like, once again, I'm just not blown away by it. Let me go. So we started with 16 million C-bills. That was a ×4 multi-op in a very low-level mission with mercenaries. So now we're going to go ahead and sell everything that we don't need. We get 600,000 for that mech. For the Hunchback, we don't need Hunchbacks, do we? I don't think we're doing Hunchbacks.
No, we're not.
Okay, Hunchback can go. 600,000. This Javelin can go 460,000. This Locust can go 340,000. Another Locust 360,000. A Spider almost 600,000. Another Spider almost 600,000. A Vulcan about 560,000. Another Vulcan 560,000, and another Vulcan 560,000. So we started with 16 million C-bills, and we basically doubled our money. We're up to 33.6 million C-bills because of that 4-mission multi-op in a very low-level area. Due to getting that bonus money, one, it's a multi-op, so that already pays out quite a bit. And then two, we fought against the mercenaries, and on top of that, we did level up with the bounty hunter. We claimed our first defeat of Linden's company, and all of that stuff really adds up. So these are ways that in the very beginning of the game, you can rake in quite a bit of money for very little risk on top of that. Here are some missions that also, once again, like, while we're here, we might as well try to fight Linden's company as much as possible just for the money and for the additional bounty hunter intel. You don't get as much for follow-up defeats of the company, but it's still something. And, I'll take all the intel I can get with the bounty hunter. So we've got a defense mission here.
Okay.
This mission is pretty low level, so we can kind of just do whatever we want. I'm going to use this mech because it's a defense mission.
I'll bring this guy just in case anything gets close.
Think we can fit in a commando? Actually, we can fit in a javelin. There we go. Looks good to me. Dara sweeping in with the 5 gift memberships. They went to Congrexus Prime. They went to Ryan Blue Thunder, Tactical Attack Ferret, Jordan Left Swifty, and Camille Randolph, Nemesis the Warlock. Thank you so much, Dara, for the generous memberships, and congratulations to everyone who received a membership. Dara actually has a question, which we will be getting to. But But yeah, once again, like just to finish up my thoughts on the PvP mode, I just don't. I had no interest in either of those game modes. Obviously, I'm sure there are people who are like, "Oh, PvP's kind of cool," but I kind of feel like why not just play MechWarrior Online, which is a whole game that caters towards that kind of content to begin with.
It's an interesting thing. Like, were they thinking about, like, are they gonna like obsolete MechWarrior Online, or were they worried that this is gonna take over? I mean, it obviously isn't, but like, I wonder if that's something that possibly came into their mind.
There's our mercs.
Destroyed. Target destroyed.
She's very enthusiastic, I'll say that. For better or for worse. So, the next question, so we're covering Battletech news at the moment. The next Battletech news, because like I'm going to start doing like news segments and stuff like that in these shows just so that we have more stuff to talk about. We have a financial report from Piranha Games at EG7, which I think is like some kind of a trade fair event or something. And in it, basically, they did not say how much money MechWarrior 5 Clans is making, but what they did imply is that MechWarrior 5 Clans is doing pretty good. That it's basically like, that it's going to exceed that of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and they expect it to be a very reliable, long-term moneymaker going into the future. Now, you know, we'll see if that is a projection. We'll see if that projection proves true or not. But that is what they wrote. And obviously, you know, if it's going to potentially outsell MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, it brings up the question, does that mean that the Clans is a better game than MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries? But what do you guys think, chat? And I guess we'll start with you, Sheriff. Let's set this into different segments. So first off, what do you think about the news that the Clans is doing well, and more specifically, positioned to outsell MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries?
It doesn't actually sound true. Like, it may well be true. I mean, I haven't seen their financial report, but by saying that it is projected to do better than Mercs, it means it isn't currently. But what, the question is it? Are they just trying to like build hype? Or are they just saying that? But like, oh yeah, like this game is better. Like you should definitely buy it. You're totally missing out. It seems like a very, clever sales ploy, if you ask me. But let's say they're being honest, and that is the case. The only reason why it would be selling so well is because they're, it's selling on the foundation of what was built with Mercs. Like Mercs is the reason why that game is selling well, not the fact that it's Clans. So. Again, it doesn't really, I mean, I think it's a kind of nothing kind of thing, to be honest. It's like, I would expect it to sell well because Mercenaries is such a good game. But what will be interesting to see is how, how much longevity that has in terms of people playing it for an extremely long time. That's where I think, they'll kill them more. There's people playing this game now, when we're playing it now, 5 or 6 years after release. I would be amazed if people are playing that game even 2 years after release, but let alone buying it.
Yeah, let's get a react from the chat. Teddy Bear says, oh, for fuck's sake, I hate this timeline. Macronox says, wishful thinking to me. So it's like, this is what I think about it. I don't think they're lying, mainly because, generally speaking, companies are very, very quiet when their game is not doing well. Normally, if people are lying about the sales of a company, it will be games journalists. The games journalists will basically be like, yeah, this thing is doing amazing. All the haters were wrong. Usually when the company says something is doing well, I'll choose to believe them when they say their thing is doing well. The other thing, though, is that when a game isn't doing well, then they don't say anything. They're very, very hush-hush about it. They're like, oh, yeah, our game's not doing well, maybe we'll just keep our mouth shut about it. So, like, I believe that the game is outselling MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, or is currently on a pathway to outsell MechWarrior. They weren't very specific, so I don't know specifically if it has already done it or if it's on a pathway to do it. However, I'm also not surprised, and the reason for that is to use other examples. There are times, not times, there are plenty of times where the sequel does better than the first game. Like Halo 3, for example, did extremely well, and it was because it built up momentum from the previous games. And so each time the game came out, there was an amount of like, wow, we've heard of this legendary game called Halo. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm going to play it this time as well. Like, the hype kind of builds over time. So, like, I think that it is coming from two sources. But first, we've got another mission here. So this is an objective raid. Basically 3 million C-bills. That probably means Linden's company's going to be here. So we're going to take out Linden's company. We're just like farming these guys for like bonus payouts at the moment. These are easy missions though, like big money in easy missions. Like, you can, don't think that, you can be Big Meech in the very beginning of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries if you know how to make money, even in the very beginning of the game. So if you want to be Big Meech immediately, you can do that, actually, by targeting low-level mercenaries. Like, they pay out a lot of money, even in the beginning of the game. I'm going to use the Marauder. So I think that the reason why MechWarrior 5 Clans is doing as well as it has been, according to the EG7 report, is, one, I do think that some of it has to do with MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, kind of like bringing the MechWarrior Online as well. I think MechWarrior Online and MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries kind of keeping the name Battletech, keeping the name MechWarrior in people's minds. But also, I also think that there's just a lot of people who wanted clans. Why do I say that? Because that's all people talk about on Twitter. Anytime Piranha Games makes a comment about Battletech and MechWarrior, it inevitably comes with, you guys just don't want my money. You're not making clans, so you just don't want my money. That's like 5 years ago. Like, it's from the first day of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. People have been like, you clearly don't want my money, otherwise you would make the clans. And they have been saying that for 5 years. And so I do think that the fans are to blame, at least to some degree here. I don't know what percentage the fans are to blame for MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, but at least some of it is. And some of the blame I will relieve from, once again, I'm not going to commit to like a number, like what percentage they need to be relieved. But the thing is, if you are listening to your fans, and your fans keep telling you that we want clans, we want clans, we want clans, we want, like, basically a MechWarrior 2, well, you might be getting basically poison pill advice. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you're listening to your fans, but maybe what you're listening to are like kind of like the old fuddy-duddies who are trapped in the MechWarrior 2 timeline. And I know that might sound offensive for me to say, but I don't think these people have considered the idea that maybe the formula of the original games was good in its time, but it's not necessarily good in 2024, because the way MechWarrior 5 plays is the way MechWarrior 4 plays, is the way MechWarrior 3 plays, is the way MechWarrior 2 plays. Like, that's how they play. They are a linear campaign, the same mechs in the same formation with the same enemies. It is exactly the same. There is no randomization. There is no progression for the most part. Like, the mechs just kind of like unlock as you get farther into the game. I would say they still do it. I'm not in MechWarrior 2. MechWarrior 2 MechWarrior 5 is basically MechWarrior 2. Now, you might argue that maybe MechWarrior 2 had more creative missions, to which I would say maybe. I mean, I don't remember. My memory of it is foggy at best, but that was the advice they were given. They were told, you need to make the MechWarrior 5 clans. Otherwise, you don't want my money. And they would constantly say, like, we don't give a shit about the Dragon's Gambit. Like, you just don't want our money. You're not making the clans. So, they are listening to their fans. But what if the fans don't know what they want? Or the problem is that the people making these suggestions are essentially a vocal minority. Because the vast majority of new MechWarrior players in particular have no idea who the clans even are to begin with, meaning they wouldn't know to ask for the clans because they have no idea who they are. Like, take the Sheriff, for example. This was the Sheriff's first experience with the clans, so he wouldn't even know to ask for the clans to begin with.
No.
So, while I'm usually careful to blame the fans, there are times when I do think the fans are to blame. Just as another example, you know, so that this is not like a one-time thing, World of Warcraft. In a game like World of Warcraft, the advice of the fans is sometimes poisonous. And what I mean by that is, in a game like World of Warcraft, everyone is going to tell you, not literally, when I say everyone, just, you know, use some common sense, I'm generalizing here. A massive quantity of people are going to tell you, I want the game to be easier. I want loot faster. I want the fights to be easier. I want to progress through the game faster. And the reason this is poisonous advice is because the people who are threatening to leave the game because it's too hard are the people who will threaten to leave the game because there's not enough to do. After you make the game easier, after you make it easier to get all of the rare items and everything in the game, well, you know what happens? That means you get to the end faster because it's easier to do. And then those same people are like, this game is boring, there's nothing to do. So by following that advice, you are actually damaging the fundamental aspect of the game, that the game had a certain medium pacing. Not too fast, not too slow, but still, because it's a medium pacing, that is still too fast, too slow for some people. And those people are always going to tell you that they want things to be easier. You will not find a whole lot of people who will tell you that they want something to be even harder. You will get them, but they will be outnumbered by the people who will tell you that they want things to be easier. Like, that will always be the, oh, go ahead and take us out of here. Hey, also, like, look at the Sheriff just using his higher speed, something that you would never do in MechWarrior 5 clans, splitting off from the lands to knock out an objective in the complete opposite direction, greatly increasing our optimization. It would take me a long time to march from one side of the battlefield to the next. Once again, something that you just will not see in clans. So despite the fact that clans have these handcrafted missions, what we are seeing is more, what's the word for it? Emergent gameplay. Emergent gameplay refers to gameplay that kind of just comes out of the player's way of playing rather than the developer's intended pathway of playing. And that is not really, you won't really get a whole lot of that out of clans, where you get a lot of that out of mercenaries, especially if you're playing cooperatively, where, you know, you can have multiple players doing things in an interesting manner. There's no doubt about that. But, yeah, it's like I said, you know, I'm always wary about blaming the fans because it can be bad form. However, I don't like to deal in absolutes very often, and that means that if we don't deal in absolutes, there are times when it is the fans who are in the wrong, and I think that this is one of those cases. And let me see what difficulty this area is. 3 to 5. Like, we could also fight. We're on Mercenary Rampage at the moment. We've got the Crater Cobras over here, so it's time to go see if we can pay Colonel Westrick a... I mean, maybe I should rename this episode into, like, the Mercenary Massacre, because, like, right now, we are just cutting these guys down. Let's see what chat thinks about it, though. Dara says, I think Mercs will outsell it still. He doesn't think that they include the Game Passes in the sales. Well, don't forget that Clans also is in the Game Pass. Deadly Nightshade says he's not familiar enough about these. Yeah, Deadly Nightshade is just a super fan. He just shows up regardless of the game that's being played. So hats off to Deadly Nightshade. Lycan Metal says basically what happened to 2K. The fans complained patches to exist, then bitch about it later. They want it to be GTA, and now they hate it, and they want it to focus on the basketball. Yeah, like, that's an issue where you do need to listen to the fans. There's no doubt about it, but you can't, basically, you need to listen to the fans, but you can't allow the fans to, like, literally be in charge. Like, the fans are not developers. Like, it's not the same thing. We looks like we've got Colonel Westrick locked in. Over here, we've got Periphery Realms versus House Steiner. Targeted kill, paying 3.3 million C-bills. That means that the Crater Cobras are looking for an easy contract here. But unfortunately, you know, we're going to, like, gobble them up. Like, you know, I was going to make a joke about the fox, but I don't think foxes eat snakes. So I guess we're going to be secretary birds or something.
It could be the other way around. Perhaps snakes actually eat foxes. I'm not sure.
It's possible. I imagine a large enough snake might do it. Probably, you know, it's probably both. I bet foxes would eat smaller snakes.
Yeah.
If foxes can eat stuff like rabbits and stuff, then surely they can eat small snakes. That's what we're going to be doing, though. But, you know, let's go with the secretary bird. The secretary bird beats the dog shit out of snakes. So, you know, that's what it is. This is an assassination in a molten biome, so maybe I should use something a little more heat efficient. Time to break out the blackjack.
I'm going to stick with this guy. He's not too hot and spicy.
I'm going to bring them in something a little heavier, I think. You and
You got 45.
This one's a little bit on the cooler side compared to the SRM model. And there we go. Like it says, the devs need to listen to the fans to an extent. Yeah, exactly. Like, same wavelength there. He had already posted that before I shared that. Daniel Vaughn says, did you fall out of love with State of Decay? That is how I found the channel. Yes. About going on 2 years ago, I reached my limit with what I could deal with Undead Labs in particular. Like, the game has something to do with it, but really it's Undead Labs. Like, I just could not stand them. Like, I need to get away from them before I get canceled off of the internet. So I did exactly that. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the full story since, you know, this is a MechWarrior stream, but yes. Like, I am done with... It would be less accurate to say I'm done with State of Decay 2, and it's more accurate to say I'm done with Undead Labs. So anything Undead Labs makes, I have no interest in playing. Macronox says that he is got to do some chores. Well, thank you for stopping by, Macronox. But, yeah, so that's the situation with... basically, I'm not surprised that MechWarrior Clans is outselling it. The second part of the question, does that mean that Clans is better? No, because... The Last of Us 2, I think, overperformed. Oh, watch out! These rocks can be very trappy. These kinds of rocks can, like, you can get stuck in them very easily.
I always get stuck.
But I believe The Last of Us 2 outperformed the original Last of Us. Now, you know, I need a citation on that. I'm not sure, but it did quite well, even though it was not well received. Like, people did not like The Last of Us 2, but lots of people bought The Last of Us 2 because it was riding the coattails, the very, very fancy coattails of The Last of Us 1. So basically, the reputation, it takes a while for your reputation to spread in both ways. Like, if your reputation is on the rise, it takes a moment for that to happen. But likewise, if you have a good reputation, it also takes a little while for your reputation to fall. Like, take Blizzard, for example. Blizzard has had a absolutely immaculate reputation for many, many years. And now for an equal amount of years, they've had a very negative reputation, but people still have a lot of faith in Blizzard because their extremely positive reputation was so good. So it takes a while, like, you know, it takes a while to completely tank your reputation, I will say that. So basically, I'm not surprised that MechWarrior 5 Clans is overperforming MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. That doesn't mean I think that it is a better game, and I don't think the sales are an indicator that it's a better game. And like I said, there are people who, especially on Reddit, they will fight to the death on me on the issue that they're like, you are wrong about MechWarrior 5 Clans. It is uncontestably better than MechWarrior 5 Mercenary. Well, I'd like to see how many hours they get out of the game. Like, I have thousands of hours in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I'd like to see just how many hours they get out of MechWarrior 5 Clans. I don't think it's going to be nearly... I think it will be a infinitesimally small by comparison.
I agree.
So here's a tip, MechWarriors. These rocks in these volcanic missions are very, very prone to getting your mech permanently stuck. And if you don't have jump jets, you'll just be stuck like Chuck. So I would suggest staying on the kind of sandier looking terrain and avoid the kind of volcanic rock looking terrain. Go ahead, Sheriff.
We got some bad intel.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it'd be more accurate to say that because MechWarrior 5 Clans is selling well, that MechWarrior 5 Mercs is a better game, and vice. And in a similar fashion, if the MechWarrior 6 comes out or something, and it sells extremely well or extremely poorly, that's probably more of a reflection on the previous game. So, because how can someone buy based on the quality of clans? You can buy it on the basis of the fact that there's going to be clans, but you can't buy it based on the quality of it if you don't know what it's going to be about. Well, the standard is set by the previous installment, so I think it's more of a testament, like I said, to MechWarrior 5 Mercs that game is selling so well.
Yeah, on a side note, like, I really want to encourage people to, like, embrace the mecha genre as well. And what I mean by that is there's definitely people in the Battletech universe who are, like, you know, they will stick their nose up at Eastern mecha. Like, they're like, Gundam, oh, Gundam is not, like, it is not Battletech, you know, Armored Core is not Battletech. I really ask people to not necessarily change your mind, but, like, give them another shot. Give people another chance. And the reason for that is because we are not in the golden age of Battletech where there was mecha games all the time, and there was no fear of MechWarrior and Battletech having a problem. Oh, gosh. And a dropship and artillery. But right now we are, you know, like, mecha games are not popular. But the thing is, here's something I'm noticing. On Reddit, I am noticing people saying, hey, I just played Armored Core 6 and I want to play more mech games. And I heard that MechWarrior 5 is pretty good. So we basically had a guy who, after playing MechWarrior or Armored Core 6, wanted to play more mech games. And so he came to MechWarrior 5. And I think that's exactly what these games are going to be capable of doing. I think they can bring both people from both sides into the fold. And because there's not very many mech games, I think there is more than enough ability to play all of them. Like, I don't see why not. Like, why there is basically, I was going to say there's no shortage of games. There is a shortage of games. That's exactly the problem. There's not enough mech games. So one thing that I'm thinking about doing on the channel is supporting more mech games. I'll make sure that there are games I'm actually interested in. But I definitely think it is a good idea because you will see a little bit of cross-pollination. You know what we got here is a bee going to one flower called Armored Core 6, and then he traveled to another flower called MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. So I think there's definitely something to be. Oh, the Mercs are here. Oh no. So you're going to be unhappy with the damage we do to you as well. Where are they? Eliminate the mercenaries. Where are the mercenaries?
That makes a junk pile now.
Where is our evac?
Nope. Evac's arrived.
Okay, I don't know where the enemy mercenary is.
Oh, he's over there, I see him.
Oh. It's a Griffin with a PPCX. Watch it.
I've never seen this spawn that far away.
I am not gonna lie, I was a little worried that he was glitched out. This guy's coming out guns blazing, let me tell you. Like, he thinks he's in the Armored Core, thinking he's gonna, like, take an entire, like, all of us down. Coming up here like he's the anime main character. But to that end, what I might do on the channel is when Armored Core comes out with its DLC, I may play the DLC. That's assuming it will come out with the DLC, but I feel it will. And then when Mecha Break comes out, I will probably play Mecha Break on the channel as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the Piranha Games EG7 financial report. So, we're going to move on. Let's go to a fun question. So nowadays, if you have a question that you want me to talk about, submit it into the Discord. In fact, let me get you guys a Discord link, because I will, if you ask me here, I might forget, or I might not be prepared. I might need to think about the question. But I will answer your questions. Here is a link. Let me make sure that link is still good as well. Okay, good. That link still is functional. And yeah, if you go into there, you can ask a question in specifically the MechWarrior 5 section. Hit me with a ping, and I will add it, and I will answer your questions on as soon as I can. Maybe not literally in the next episode, or oh, we needed the Shadowhawk. We got the Shadowhawk for the bounty. We'll take it. And we did that one, and we walk away a little bit wealthier once again because we get the bonus payout for knocking out the enemy mercenary units. But yeah, so this question comes from Dara. Dara is becoming a pretty long-term member of the community. Like, he has been. Do we need the Shadowhawk 2H? No, we already have one.
We have one, yeah, I think we have one.
Oh, don't sell. Don't. Okay, hold on a second. So this thing would sell for 1.1 million. Yeah, that's a great price for a mech that we cored out. I'm surprised it's worth that much. We are going to give it over here though. We get a little bit more. We get 1.4 million C-bills. We get 3 tier 5 machine guns, 5 tons of machine gun ammo. This is a pretty good way to collect these high tier weapons as well. And let's make sure we give them the beat up one. That takes us up to Mech Collector Level 3, which unlocks Heat Containment 1. More insulation around critical areas means greater heat buildup before the shutdown becomes necessary. So, you know, better heat capacity. Let me see if there's any more missions. Nope, not missions for... Oh, let's take the Cantina. 10 commandos. That's not... I think we can do that. Kill Shadowhawks, kill commandos, go to the Rasselhag Outer Reaches and get a Timbiki Dark cache. Timbiki Dark is a dark chocolate flavored beer, I believe. The Rasselhag Outreaches. Where is that? Outer Settlements, Drought Worlds, Rasselhag Outer Reaches. I kind of don't want to go into a lower level area personally, but maybe we'll just dip in and maybe we'll just grab it, dip in and dip out. Because it does sound like an easy job as well. So right over here, I see a bunch of missions. Because I do want to get out of these low-level missions and into some higher-level missions. But so Dara asks, and I'm going to condense the question down a bit, what would you do to conquer the Inner Sphere and also the clans? I'm going to extend the question to the chat as well. And I condensed it down because it is a bit of a loaded question. It's kind of like a collect urban mechs, collect flamers. Let's do flamers, because our equipment collector is a bit low. It is a rather convoluted question, but at the same time... Oh, none of these had... Wait, these are high level. These missions are pretty high. Wait, what area is this? Oh, never mind. This is actually a decently leveled area. Okay, never mind. Drop weight 270. This is actually a decent area, then.
Looks like we have the flamers as well.
Oh, we have them? Okay, I'll give it to them. You can have the flamers. So the flamers are worth 170,000. That's probably not bad. Flamers don't sell for very much. We get 2 Streak SRM2s, 3 tons of ammo, and bam. And then we can take another mission. What do you think we're going to be more likely to do? Do you think we'll get 3 locusts first, or do you think we'll get 3, or 2 urban mechs?
Wait, 2 urban mechs, I think.
With the urban mechs it is. Okay, well, I mean, while we're here, we might as well do some of these actual missions. So let's start with...
I feel like I picked the wrong one there, if I'm being honest. But anyway, we'll go with it.
I ultimately don't think it's going to matter. So we don't get a lot of... we're just going to go for full money here because they don't really care for us. So in this case, the way you salvage a mission is just to, like, you know, take the money.
I actually, in my most recent playthrough, basically just did all the triangle head missions, and it's like extremely overpowered because you just like you can just get like max money everywhere you go, no matter what zone you're in.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the archer, and then I'm probably gonna send him in an archer as well, because we probably need to fill up our like a. Oh, let me tell you the biome. The biome is a swamp.
Shrooms. I'm going for the old Kintaro. Oh, that's quite a symmetrical lance. I like it.
So Happy Teddy Bear says that's the neat part. you don't, except for the clans, because fuck them. Do you want? How do you want to tackle this question? It's like it is like it's a rather complicated question. Maybe the how would you go about conquering the inner sphere? The reason it's a complicated question is, I mean, like, what power are you conquering them as? I assume you get to choose what power that you would be conquering the inner sphere as. Maybe we should break it down into bite-sized chunks. So, like, let's start with that. Like, if you were to conquer the inner sphere, what faction would you even begin as?
So this isn't saying I'm starting as the clans, what mechs would I use, or is this saying which grid house, or do I get to choose?
That it is left. The question was not specific.
Well, the clans probably could have done it, I think, if they weren't so dumb, to be fair to them. But I guess it's a very hard question to answer, because, you know, there's an argument that perhaps, again, had the Federated Commonwealth been a little bit smarter, perhaps, and taken over, maybe went for the Free Worlds League and the Capellan Confederation before trying to be very clever and go for the Kuritans, you know, like white bite off that when you can bite off the two easier, and then kind of turn your attention elsewhere. I think it's a, you know, as far as jobs go, it's not a very easy one to conquer the inner sphere, to be honest. So I'm not honestly sure. I think it might be possibly not very easy. I'll tell you what the easiest option probably to say is probably just be Comstar and then just like threaten everyone to like lose their HPG, and then unless they like, you know, join in with their new like inner sphere, perhaps that's like the kind of cheat answer, I guess.
Okay, so, you know, let me see what people are saying. So yeah, Happy Teddy Bear says, that's the neat thing, you don't. Everybody's got beef with somebody. Dara says it posed as you are, as you are yourself. Well, I mean, we're nobody, so it would be, if we are just ourself, then we could not possibly conquer the inner sphere. Like, it would never be doable within a single human life cycle. So that's why I'm going to modify the question into, like, we get to be a particular power.
Yeah.
Because if we were just like let's say we were Commander Mason, it could never be done within a human life cycle.
We have a Cyclops on the field, by the way, just to the west. Yeah, I guess.
So basically,
yeah,
we have to. What we're doing is we're going to kind of Iron Man the question. Like, we're modifying it, but we're going to Iron Man the question in order to make the question plausible. Because if we are just ourselves, the answer is that it's impossible, and then that's not a fun question anymore.
Alright, Cyclops. Let's be careful.
Additional tangos en route to
So basically, by Iron Manning the question, where we can actually play as an existing faction, so that we actually have the capability of waging, you know, like intergalactic war.
Go for the legs. These things, this thing's legs are really weak.
I will be the biggest cheerleader. Missiles, go for the legs. Get those legs, missiles. Get the legs, missiles. Get his legs, missiles. I think the missiles may have helped.
They might help. I forgot you were a missile mech.
Damn, that's outside my range. So, I guess my first thing is I don't want to conquer the inner sphere. So, like, you know, that might be a cheat answer, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to. So, like, I obviously would take on the role of the Draconis Combine. I don't want to rule over the other places. I don't want their, like, filthy, trashy lands. I don't want to rule over their lands. What I would want to do instead is actually more of what England did in its Age of Conquest, where they vassalized people. You know, like, they put, like, basically British yes men there to keep order, but they did not actually, they vassalized them. Because, you know, like, I don't want the filthy lands of the Federated Sons. What I want is to break their back militarily so that they cannot question me, and I don't have to worry about them, you know, beefing with me, but I don't actually want to occupy them. Like, would I want to have them militarily destroyed? Yes. Would I want to install, like, a Combine yes man so that they, you know, they can no longer oppose me militarily or politically? Yes. But do I want to own their lands? No. So my objective would be mainly to destroy not Comstar, FedCom. FedCom is the biggest threat to the Inner Sphere. So my main objective would be to, you know, I think the Draconis Combined did more or less what they should have done. They should have banded together into a counter-alliance and focused on destroying FedCom. Like, I think that was the correct choice that they made. And although FedCom seemed to think that they had some kind of a divine providence going on, that they were, like, destined to secure the Inner Sphere, clearly it didn't work out. Comstar, one of the benefits to this strategy is that Comstar wants this to happen as well. So you already got Comstars on your side, because Comstar doesn't want any particular power to rule the Inner Sphere. They want to kind of maintain the status quo. So the strategy that I'm proposing also kind of gets Comstar more on your side, because your goal isn't to force everyone to speak Japanese, basically. And like I said, I don't want them to speak Japanese. Like, you know, like I don't want, I don't want their culture to affect mine. I want to basically build a wall and make the Federated Sons pay for it. I want to build a wall, and I want House Steiner to pay for it, essentially. Now, but here, so Teddy Bear is giving his thoughts. Oh wow, there's an assault mech on the field, like a real assault mech. I am counter bombarding that longbow.
Yeah, I killed a longbow and then a thunderbolt somehow got a lucky hit on me, or I don't know what the hell happened.
Looks like they are gonna begin their own counter bombardment. I'm gonna have to find cover because I can't take that many LRMs.
Yeah, I'm hiding now. I'm like one hit from being dead. Yeah, that's why I think if the goal is total takeover, it has to be Comstar and it has to be HPGs. It's the only thing that anyone is like truly threatened by. Because military conquest just isn't possible. The space is far too vast. You're fighting against far too many enemies. It has to be some sort of subterfuge like that. Assassinations and the likes.
Yeah, and like I said, I also just don't. I don't feel it's desirable either, because space is so vast that it's like, yes, there are planets that might have resources you want, in the sense that they might have factories that you want. Oh, look at this. Like, just firing perfectly over the wall right here. Like, actually using the LRMs what they were made to do. This was a surprisingly tough mission. Like, the weight level was quite high. Like, they want to kill me really bad, but I'm, like, not giving them an opening.
That was a nasty mission.
Yeah, very surprising for 270 tons. So Happy Teddy Bear says, okay, so if I seriously had to, I would start by allying with all of the periphery states and then doing some lucrative deals with the free worlds. Like, that's an interesting idea. The periphery states, they hate the Inner Sphere. They hate the Great Houses. So it probably wouldn't be too hard to twist their arm into something. What faction has the best parties? Asks Lycan Metal. That's a good question. Not the Capellan Confederation, since they're the ones who are, like, in the most dire straits, so probably not them. You know, I bet most of the Inner Sphere houses, like, would have, like, similarly good parties.
I agree.
Just
yeah,
because, like, no matter your culture, people are going to want to, like, you know, live it up, basically. Look at that. We didn't lose any components either. Very good news. You know, I think we might need to pick up one or two bigger mechs. Like, let's just go over here real quick and see if we can pick up a bigger mech real fast.
I just want to remind myself what the other heavy mech was. Marauder, Grasshopper, Archer, Jaeger mech. Yeah, we're looking for Jaeger mechs as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised by how heavy a weight they deployed into that battle.
We need crabs and hatchet mans. Obviously, they don't exist yet. Oh, we haven't marked off that blackjack. Do that.
Okay, nothing good here. Unfortunately, this is a pretty low level. You know, maybe we'll just go to a nicely sized. Maybe we'll go to Luthien.
Probably not a bad idea.
Because, like, I think, I mean, we earn, like, 40 million C-bills. That's enough to actually buy some... Oh, double heatsink for sale. think I'll snap that up real quick. And I'll take those arena superchargers. Arena superchargers are dirt cheap, and they're very strong, so we definitely want to pick those up. I think this area, yeah, this one's too low level. Let's go to, do I have any mechs that I need to get out of our inventory? I do not. Okay, so we're going to head on over to here in order to... Let's do some shopping. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Like, if you're gonna, you know, that's kind of the House Liao method. The House Liao, and I mean, I think, generally speaking, I think House Liao often has the correct idea, you know, when using political machinations to get what they want. Because it's like, you gotta use, if you're really trying to make this happen, you need to use every trick in the book to gain an upper hand. Let me review what mechs we need. So, the mechs you guys voted for is the Flea, Commando, Javelin, Panther, Blackjack, Hatchetman, Crab, Kintaro, Shadowhawk, Jaegermech, Archer, Grasshopper, Marauder, Victor, Corsair, Annihilator, King Crab, and Marauder 2. That is basically... That is what we're looking for. So we do have a Grasshopper here. We don't need to buy anything immediately. We could come back if we want to. Also, let me check for better pilots. Our current pilots... We're looking for basically 40s or better. Nothing super good there. So Port Arthur was a bust. Let's go to... Let's just go down. We'll go anti-clockwise, and then we'll jump back up and go clockwise. So yeah, like conquering the inner sphere, like, I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't know if it's possible, just because... even if you did begin to... If you began, you know, so the FedCom came the closest to conquering the inner sphere. And then Comstar like made some aggressive moves to stop them. So like I don't even know if it's possible to do so. Oh, here's a 44 pilot.
Captain ready, Commander. Glad to join the company, Commander. Let's kick some ass.
As far as the clans go, I don't know if it's possible to destroy the clans either, because the only way you can really beat the clans is if they agree to not... as long as they're following their dopey rules, then the clans are much more realistic to beat. But if the clans are not following their dopey rules... Oh, let's take this Marauder. Then they suddenly become much more deadly. You can customize any of the mechs that I grab if you want, Doctor. And if you were basically trying to like destroy the clans completely, then I'm pretty sure they would just like, you know, like would they drop their goofy way of life? I think probably. They probably would just be like, no, we're gonna fight all out, and then I just don't think it would be worth it to do so. Or not even that I wouldn't think it would be worth it to do so. Here's a Victor. We do need a Victor.
So my answer is a little bit stranger. So I think I would invite them to... what do they call their dumb duels again?
It is a... you challenge them to a Bachal.
A Bachal, yeah. A Bachal. And the loser...
Or you issue a Bachal, rather. The Bachal is the challenge.
Yes. So I'll issue a Bachal where they have to like commit Sudoku. If every one of them, they have to commit Sudoku. Good old.
Okay. That's actually very. Okay, I'm into this. Okay, let's let them cook. Let them cook.
Okay, so they all have to commit Sudoku, right? And I'll so one of their stars, and I am so confident about this. I'll just bring one mech, right? So they all have to commit Sudoku, and then whenever they like come into, I'm not telling them how we're gonna do this. So whenever they lock into this, right, and they're like, okay, fine, we're gonna bring our 5 best warriors, whatever. I'm just gonna sit like 5,000 meters away, King Crab car, blast them with heavy rifles. They ain't getting near me. So the King Crab car can literally kill anything from any distance. There's no range limitation to heavy rifles. So and then whenever they all die, when the 5 of them die, the whole of the clans have to commit Sudoku. And then I just walk into their streets and be like, "Yeah, this is my land now." So I think that's where I'm taking it on.
That would be that would be the most hilarious. Okay, if that actually works, that would be utterly hilarious. I would be like, "Okay, you win."
I mean,
you win.
The dumb honor code, like honestly, That they've cooked themselves with their
Well,
stupid honor code.
and it's like you're kind of like okay. Let's test the limits of your goofy way of life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you want to be dumb? I'll show you dumb.
I never would have considered an idea like that, and yet at the same time, it's also very interesting. Like, I do find it to be an interesting idea, just because once again, it pits their goofy way of life to like the maximum.
Yeah, well, they should have thought about that beforehand, shouldn't they? I really don't know what to do with this thing, if I'm being honest. I want to do something different. Something like, just weird. Yeah, what about this? Does this fit? Kinda.
You know what? I'll take a grasshopper. Okay, so unfortunately, the pickings from Mechs here were not as fantastic as I wanted them to be. I was hoping we'd get a little bit more, but I saw a second Victor for sale. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think a single Victor is good enough. Like, I'm not, you know, you can miss me on the Victors. Like, I'll buy one and we will mess around with it, but one is good enough. Hey, there's a quest here we haven't done. What quest is this?
Okay, I've built a monstrosity, and I can tell you right now it's gonna be bad, but I just want to try it out.
I'm guessing this is it. Actually, okay, let's build up the mechs real fast. So which one are you working on now?
I have just finished the Marauder, so I guess it's the Victor and the Grasshopper.
Okay, I'll do the grasshopper then.
Oh god.
Yes, I did choose I choose the one that I knew I had an idea for. And by I knew I had an idea for, I'm not saying that that was like a brilliant deduction, but yes, I do have I do have a way to build this mech. In fact, actually, I do have a more nuanced way of building this mech.
I already hate what I built.
You don't like it?
No, but I'm just gonna do it anyway.
I gotta mess with its armor real fast. Oh, wait, max armor. There we go. I knew there was a shortcut. Okay, actually, I'm gonna leave it at 9.93 armor. I don't see a problem with that. Okay, now I'm gonna load on a bunch of heat sinks. Yeah, that's probably more heat sinks than I need. Okay, in that case, let's upgrade these. I thought there was a more nuanced way to build this, but I was wrong. Really? Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely not enough heat sinks. Get off.
Okay, now the mech is kind of stupid. Maybe we'll go with the nuanced design again.
I built a dumb Marauder, and I built a I don't know, probably as good of a bad Victor as I could probably come up with. Like, it's a bad mech, but it's like, it might be functional. But that Marauder is gonna be rubbish. I just already tell you.
You can feel it.
Yeah, I can smell just hot garbage, but I just wanted to try something that wasn't PPCX.
Okay, I, on the other hand, have chosen to go with PPCX, but I'm using Arena Fist this time around. So we've got our Grasshopper has 2 medium lasers, 2 small lasers, 2 Arena Fists, no missile launcher, and then as many heat sinks as I could strap on, which is still not enough, but 2 Arena Fists. Should be pretty good.
I know another way you could take over the clans, actually, just thinking. So, whenever they first invade, all you gotta do is like leave a small like defense force, and then like everyone, like just get everyone to be friends. I know it's like easier said than done, but everyone just be friends, and then just like as the clans are like warping into the inner sphere, you just warp into their home worlds. Now, the reason why this would work is because there's no technicality that says I can't just give up the inner sphere. So I just give up the inner sphere, they can just have it, I don't care about that anymore. And I just exodus everyone to the clans worlds, and then I just own them, because they're all fighting like no one in the inner sphere. And I just have their land. And even if it's just for 1 second, I technically win.
That's true. You'd be like, You know, we're here. We got it. We win.
Yeah. So that's my strategy now.
I still like the idea of like forcing the clans to play Sudoku. Like I'm down with it. Like I'm like, okay, I'm in it. I'm in it.
I'm in it too. I think it's probably the best strategy, to be honest.
The mission area
Then they'll
is
have to,
under
like,
heavy
stab
weather
themselves.
warning.
I mean, I would go
Going
the
to
full
affect
distance.
visibility for you.
You have to commit Sudoku, and the battle would be a Sudoku contest. Like literally the game. Like whoever can complete these Sudokus the fastest. Because I mean, like, it doesn't have to be a military duel. It could be, you know, like anything you know, like the clans will accept substitutions.
Oh, we have our new pilots, don't we?
Oh yeah. Well, we have a new pilot.
That is better than nothing.
All right, I want to use a new mech. So
What's the guy called?
I'm gonna use
Molina.
your I'm gonna use your. Oh, never mind. I changed my mind. I'm not using that. I'm going to this grasshopper over here.
I guess I'll use it. I don't want to use it, but I guess I'll use it. I mean, this thing looks so rubbish, but okay.
Like I jettisoned that idea before it got started. Alright.
It's a piece of crap.
Okay, so this is actually a side story mission. Assassination, Heavy Fog.
Okay.
And it looks like it's like Summer Valley or whatever that is.
Sure.
In we go.
I believe you.
So there's your answers, Dara, like how we would, and even from chat, like some people from chat played along as well. But once again, if you have questions you want me to answer, then join the Discord and submit a question. And I will credit anyone who comes up with a question that I choose in the show. Maybe not necessarily the next episode, depending on how much time we have to talk. But don't worry, we have more stuff to talk about. So, here is the gaming news. I've decided to kind of turn, because in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, there isn't as much yapping going on. We're not filled with these loquacious bastards like we are in clans. There is more time for me to actually talk about the stuff I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about, we have a news segment, gaming and entertainment news. So, if you guys didn't know it, Nintendo successfully has forced Palworld to back down on certain game mechanics that they were threatening to take them to court over. If you don't know what these games are, we'll talk about it. You probably know who Nintendo is. Palworld is basically a Pokemon with guns. It's basically what it is. You get pals instead of Pokemon, and then you can equip them with AK-47s and waste people. They can also use their powers too, but you can use a minigun, a Gatling gun, to hose people down as well. So it's not your dad or your grandfather's Pokemon game, to say the least. It's unorthodox, but you know what? People were really into it, and people were really into it most likely because you've got your Pokemon fans. But Pokemon's been around for a while, so the Pokemon fans have gotten older, and they would like it if the game kind of matured with them. If there's something that Nintendo doesn't do, is ever get more mature. Nintendo always does kiddie children stuff. You get T for teen at best. Now, Palworld has no such issue there. But Nintendo, they do not like competition. Let me tell you something. If there's something that Nintendo is allergic to, it's competition. And they will do anything they can to litigate against you, to squeeze all the competition. It's the way of capitalism. You are told in the ways of capitalism that it's going to be a market of free ideas, let the market decide, may the best product win, and that's not how it works. It actually works by going to court and preventing people from competing against you. That's how it really works. I walked into a terrible ambush. This is not where I want to be right now. Although I'm also kind of beating their brains in, so maybe I didn't walk into an ambush. Let's get these arena fists in here. Time to throw the hands. But that is exactly what happened. And so at first people said, is this going to be about the fact that the Pokemon and the pals look very similar to one another? But no, it actually wound up being very specific. Nintendo kind of sat on this for a little while. They didn't launch their litigation immediately.
Jenner?
For maybe like half a year even. And ultimately, what they went with was certain game mechanics. And what game mechanics were these? They were specifically the game mechanics throwing a ball or an object that causes a character to be deployed onto the game. That was the first thing. So you're saying it's the Pokeball. They sued them over the Pokeball. And the second mechanic, and these are patented. So Nintendo basically patented the mechanic of throwing an object, and then the object deploys a playable character onto a game field. And then they also patented the game mechanic of having a rideable character that is able to switch into an aerial mode and then is able to land and then have the rideable character switch into a land mode. Those are the two mechanics that Nintendo patented, and they are now suing or threatening to litigate with Palworld over. And recently, either today or yesterday, the news came out that Palworld has removed the mechanic of throwing an object out that the object then deploys a playable character onto the field. They have conceded that particular game mechanic, for better or for worse. So, the first question is, let's stew on that for a moment. What do you think about that, chat? And what do you think about that, Dr. Sheriff Grad?
I think it's unsurprising, to be honest. Like, we've been used to this for a long time. There was an interesting one in it's not completely related, but there's an interesting one in Ireland, and I'm trying to even think about what it was. It basically was a McDonald's ripoff, and it was that's what it was called. So it's called Super Max. So that's the name of the restaurant.
Super Max is an MAX or MACS?
MACS. So
Super
like,
Max sounds kind of badass.
It is.
Welcome to Super Max.
But the truth is, it is a rip-off of McDonald's. That being said, there was a massive lawsuit launched against them by I'm assuming the Irish, version of McDonald's, like basically their headquarters in Ireland. It could have been the American one. I'm not actually sure, to be honest. And they lost.
Okay, let's take a look. We're gonna take a look at it real quick. So here is Super Mac. This is their hamburger versus McDonald's. Like, let's see. Here's their logo. This is news to me. So we've got the Super Mac. This is it, Super Mac. That's their logo right there. It is like I would say that it is legally distinct. I feel like legally distinct. Do we know the fate of Super Max? Did they?
They still exist. They still exist, and they are doing very well in Ireland. And they won the lawsuit. So, so what happened was, because the EU basically is going to support British, any Irish people, Irish entrepreneurs, they actually won it, and the name Big Mac was used for one of their burgers, I guess, and the EU basically ruled that McDonald's would lose the trademark in Europe for the name Big Mac.
Oh my God! So it actually, not only did it not succeed, they actually lost ground.
Yeah, so they can still use Big Mac, but so can anyone else. Like, I could literally make a burger and just call it
the Big Mac. Wow, that's crazy. So like, it actually wound up doing more damage because they brought light to the issue. That's funny.
Yeah.
We got a multi-op coming up real fast. 200 tons. It's an infiltration with a Hellstorm, a raid, a target kill with a Sandstorm, and a demolition. So we're going in. I'm actually going to go maximum salvage. I know that might sound a little odd, but what we're going to do is use this salvage to bank it up and bring it into the next mission. Because this is an infiltration.
Extreme weather conditions means you'll be dealing with limited visibility and compromised sensors on this mission.
Let's bring some small buddies along.
Teddy Bear says that he's not a fan of Pokemon, so he doesn't have a
No, me neither, to be
dog
fair.
in this race. Now, what I'll say is, I want to say, you know, I think people should at least have a consideration for it, because I think if people are thinking like, yeah, I don't really care about Pokemon, what we're really thinking about is the precedent. Because what does it mean? It now means that if Nintendo has successfully patented an older game as well, they patented a game that was made, they made the patent in the present for a game in the past to litigate against a company now.
Once we check in at the Martin point.
And in other words, Pal World was created after
Stay away from enemy units.
the game that they then patented today came out. And what it now means is, instead of, you know, if you wanted fair competition, this idea that, you know, my game will compete about how good it is against your game, well, what we are seeing already is market consolidation. You know, Xbox and Microsoft, they don't have any talent. So they are just buying other people's talent in order to compete. You know, Sony has a little more talent than Microsoft, but everyone is out trying to buy the talent instead of recruit new talent. And that's how people compete. You know, like, rather than creating something new, just buy what they have and start using it. And I think what we're going to see, now that this precedent has been set, even if you're not a fan of Pokemon, I don't think anyone wants to live in a world where instead of having games that compete over what is the best game, you now buy all the games, patent all of the game mechanics, and then be like, no one is allowed to compete against us because we have now patented all of these game mechanics, and now you are infringing on us, and now we don't have to compete against anybody. That's the concern that I have. That's what I don't like about it. I don't like the idea. You know, like, if somebody can make your game better than you, well, then that's your fault. Like, make a better game.
I agree.
And now I understand if you're I understand if you're a total ripoff. If you are a total ripoff of something, like you're just literally the same thing, you just literally have Pikachu in your game, like literally, yes, people should have their personal inventions protected, but Pal World is what I would consider legally distinct. As in, yes, it resembles Pokemon, but it isn't Pokemon. You know, resembling something, like, you know, like I said, as long as you are legally distinct. Like, you know, what about Marvel and DC? They are all pantyhosen, you know, like not lederhosen, but like, you know, they're spandex wearing superheroes with masks and capes. You know, like, should DC have the monopoly on that kind of character? Should like Omni-Man not be allowed to exist because he's a spandex fly around superhero? It's one of those things where I think that these characters are legally distinct. They are different enough from one another, and as a result, like, I don't think that should be something that is protected by copyright. I think if you are literally taking Superman and putting him in your shit, then yes, that is a copyright infringement. But that is my concern over the news. And there is a very big culture difference. I will say that. There is a big culture difference. In Japan, they're very happy about this. And I think that's because in Asia, there's a lot of solidarity. Like, you know, in Asia, everyone is like, you know, they're very much on their own side. They very much close ranks and form a phalanx. You know, like, they may have interpersonal disputes, but once it is no longer an interpersonal dispute and now it's a dispute between Japan and another country, they absolutely close ranks. They form the phalanx and they show a unified front. But I think in this case, culture aside, I definitely don't agree with that. I don't like the idea of one company. You know, I don't like the idea of Nintendo being the only company that is able to make a Pokemon type of game because they are patenting really, like, you know, like, come on, throwing a Pokeball and it creates your Pokemon. Come on, you know, that's silly. Like, that is not an essential part of the game. Now, I guess you could argue that because it's not an essential part of the game, you know, then don't put it in the game. But, you know, we're rolling everything over. So the whole point of that was just to roll the salvage over. Our next mission is a objective. It's a objective destruction, and it is in a solar moon. Solar moon objective destruction, 200 tons. So let's load up our guys. I'm gonna use. Okay, I'm gonna use your really cursed.
I like the Victor.
Oh, it turned out okay.
Well, no, I didn't use it. I used the Marauder. The Marauder, the cursed one. But
okay, I'll use your cursed. I'm gonna use your cursed Marauder.
Yeah, it's cursed. It was okay. It's a little hot. Not gonna lie. It probably needs more heat sinks. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, to be honest.
So it could have been worse, in other words.
I definitely went in with much less expectations than what I came out with. I also agree with you on what you're saying. I think another issue as well is that it only encourages. I also realized I did not fix the armor on this mech, but anyway, the other issue is that it only allows them to create basically worse content. If no one can compete with them, then they'll just like
yeah, they'll absolutely just sit on their asses and be like, oh yeah, we don't have to put any effort in. Like, I definitely think that's a major concern. Let's see what Chad has to say. Deadly Nightshade says, I think it's unfair for Pal World. It isn't okay, but it gets boring after a while. I feel like that's okay, though. You know, a lot of games, you know, most games eventually get boring. So, you know, I would still say that's kind words for Pal World. Dara says, I think if it was all about the art style, it would really piss off all the fan art creators and stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I definitely think that's why I think they're going for what is kind of weird. You know, like this mechanical perspective rather than a,
I'm gonna go down here and destroy this random one by itself. No point in leaving it.
Okay. I will continue on then. Teddy Bear says the Deathstroke and Deadpool situation. Yes, that's a good example. The thing is, although Deadpool, I believe, is a joke character off of... I don't actually. I think Deadpool... I forget who came out first, Deadpool or Deathstroke. Like, I'm not a comics fan. I only have like a very casual understanding of Marvel and DC, so I don't know who came out first. But once again, I don't really think that... I feel like Deathstroke and Deadpool are sufficiently different from each other that, like, you know, like what? I don't... What are you gonna do? Like, litigate over them? You know, who cares? Like, they are different enough from each other. Cumby's theme says... Oh, I gotta kill some of these guys who are currently beating my butt. I don't like how they kind of have me surrounded at the moment. I don't want to have my rear armor hit too hard. Okay, good. He's going in front of me again.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
I probably should be prioritizing my AC-10 because I believe the AC-10 will outdamage both of the lasers.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
How much ammo does this have? It has a healthy amount of ammo. Okay, I can use the AC-10 pretty aggressively.
Yeah, 3 tons.
Okay, so Crumbly Steam says, imagine Marvel suing the creators of The Boys for making an almost exact copy of Superman in Homelander. Yes, exactly. It's like Homelander, you know, is clearly a Superman type of character, but, you know, I don't think people are going to mistake Superman with Homelander. You know, even though Homelander is clearly inspired by Superman, intentionally so as well. Like, you're supposed to be thinking about, like, man, what if this could happen to Superman? It's still, they're legally distinct. I think that's good enough. I think if you are legally distinct, then that's good enough. And then there should be, there should not be, the copyright shouldn't extend past that. Crumbly says you meant DC, not Marvel. Yeah, we get it. We you know, we can figure out that you meant Marvel, not DC. That's how I feel about it, though. And it does lead to the question about copyright. You know, do you guys think that copyright is getting out of hand? You know, what do you guys think about copyright? Probably not a subject that people think about on a very regular basis. What about you? How often do you think about copyright? I think about copyright pretty frequently because I'm a content creator.
I think about it a lot myself. Working in the scientific environment means you're always at risk of someone calling you out for plagiarizing or doing something like that. So, yeah, it's a thing that crosses my mind a lot. I think it's an awkward one. I think it has its place and it's very important. It's obviously very important. But I do think it was a very subjective world, you know, where how do you decide what is and what isn't copyrightable? Who's the arbitrator of that? You know, it's so clearly, especially when it comes to something like music or video games, when it's something that's an art, it's so crazily subjective. You know, that's the real issue I have.
Walk on up to the treasure to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where there is so much, there is like so much room for opinions, so much room. This is not an issue of mathematics at all.
Excellent find.
Like there's no, you know, this is not an issue where you can like rely on like a math formula, not an issue where you can rely on really anything to guide you except precedent. And then, you know, there's so much room for your personal biases. There's so much room for just so much room for things to go wrong, just because it's often an international issue as well. Damn, I am getting my ass kicked over here.
I'm on my way.
Obviously, as a content creator, copyright is a pretty big deal because you could just have your channel can just get terminated for violating copyright. But it's one of those things where some people, I think they go too far. Some people say copyright should not exist at all. I don't agree with that because I feel like that would harm people's interest in making things. I don't think people would want to make things if they know that the moment you make something, someone who's more advantaged compared to you, like, you know, someone who has like a factory, somebody who has millions of dollars, could just like, oh, I'm just gonna take this idea, mass produce it, and take the credit for it. Like why would people want to create something unique if they know that someone who has more resources and advantages over them could just like take it and do that thing better? So, like, I do think that, and I do think ideas are valuable, like, extremely valuable. In fact, ideas are, like, what makes things, like, it's what makes everything kind of work in the first place. Like, you know, how could you do anything if you didn't have the idea for it to begin with?
Target neutralized.
But at the same time, here's the problem. This is the problem. The idea of copyright, I think, is a good idea.
Oh, we got a problem.
But, oh, yeah, they're dropping in behind us. Yeah, we're gonna have to, like, concentrate our capabilities here. What are they dropping and how much? 2 mechs? Looks like smaller mechs, so not the worst situation.
We've also got this guy over here.
Okay, I'm gonna focus on this Centurion. He's down.
Incoming missile. Target
Our
acquired.
assigned mech target is on the field. Let's take it down.
But basically, as usual, people are using it, they're misusing the thing that's... Basically, people are always going to search for every advantage they can get. Now, that's human nature. I don't necessarily fault people for finding every single advantage they can get, just because that's human nature. You know, it's just the way we are. We're always going to look for a way to... If somebody is more creative than us, then we're going to find a way to destroy their creativity, minimize their creativity. We're going to find a way to hamstring them, basically. You know, like, we don't like fair fights. Like, that's not the way that humans work. Very few people enjoy fair fights. You know, if they go over, we go under. That's the attitude that most people are going to have. And that's exactly what is happening in the copyright world. What we're seeing is, like, people don't want to compete. They don't want to have fair fights. They just want to win 100% of the time, and they want to be uncontested. And so it is now going to be up to the courts to kind of decide this. And the courts are, you know, like, who knows how objective the courts are? Or who knows, it's not even an issue of objectivity. Who knows what the courts believe in? The courts could believe that, like, oh yeah, this is unfair, or the courts could believe, yeah, we're all about more competition. Give me a second, my allergies are kicking in.
You're fine. Yeah, and like, and how easily corruptible is all of that as well, you know? It's very easy for someone to... I mean, it's going to be like normal legal courts. Who actually, you know, for example, in sports, there's courts of arbitration in sports that are designed for this. Like, are they going to have to set up, you know, specific courts designed for this when it gets so silly that there's just, you know, legal battles like every day of the week because everyone's accusing someone else of something? I think it's silly, and I think that a lot of common sense has to be applied. It really does. I mean, if had Pal World come out and said, "Oh, we're Pokemon," I think then you can start to like be like, "Okay, yeah, you're getting silly now." If they had a clearly ripped off a character, and at the same time, if anything, it shows a kind of weakness to me. If someone's trying to do what you're doing, and you're scared that they're doing it better, it probably suggests that the version you made in the first place, you're not confident enough in it that it can't basically defend itself. And I kind of find that a bit like sad as well, to be honest.
Well, and you actually nailed it right on the head. That is the issue with Pal World, is that people were really excited about Pal World because like, man, you're finally doing the things that we wished Pokemon would do. And that's what they don't like. They don't like that they are doing things in a way that really is like, like Pal World was extremely popular for like the first 3 months it came out until it, leveled out into something more normal. Let me see. This is a target kill. And, we still have, let me see how many, we still have a decent bit of damage coverage and everything. So, we're still doing good there.
I think it's fair to say that that Marauder and that Victor both need to be revamped.
Yeah, I mean, the Marauder, it just lacks the punch through. Like, I just can't punch through the enemies quickly enough. Like, that was, the main issue on it.
Like I said, I expected it to be a complete and utter, fail. Which it wasn't far off being, to be fair, but it was slightly better than I expected.
Right,
and that's not saying anything.
I want to use my weird grasshopper. It's like, I was, not unhappy with that grass. This grasshopper has not been customized. Oh, no. It just has jump jets.
Yeah, I think you left the jump jets because you didn't have enough space for anything else.
Well, we'll put in both of these then. Here we go. Let's see what the chat has to say. So, Teddy Bear says, well, I do what I always do. Find a way to blame the government. This is one of these situations where the government is needed, unfortunately. Because, while it's true that, governments in recent times have not been particularly reliable, they are needed here. Because you can't trust the companies to do it. The companies are obviously too self-interested, and it's not their role to govern, so they will always take every advantage they can get. It's in their nature to do so. Only the government is capable of
regulating.
Yes, making, because the government is able to, theoretically the government is above the petty squabbles of these companies and is able to make a more objective decision. Though at the same time, you can lobby the government. You can get people in the government on your side with money, and then they're no longer objective. So while the government is necessary to do this, they can be compromised. And generally speaking, they are compromised, which is the issue. Congress Prime says that the implementation of copyright is totally screwed up, but you're right. This should be a protection of some kind of an idea. I definitely agree that the purpose of copyright makes sense, but now it is being used. It's being weaponized. That's the key word.
Yeah,
they are weaponizing copyright and using it as a way to defeat their opponents, not through fair competition. Teddy Bear says he likes the idea of patents. Way back in the day, people would protect ideas through state-sponsored guilds. Insert guild here. That was a thing. Crumby says there's supposed to be an objective reason why copyright has been violated, and most of the time people ruling these cases don't understand what they are ruling on. That's one of the most complicated things about copyright, is that there's so much room for interpretation. It's a very it's a very opinionated thing. Teddy Bear thinks that perhaps the issue is that the courts have too much strength. Maybe. Crumby says Nintendo, they couldn't dumb down the patent as they used as an object to make another object appear. No more Yu-Gi-Oh. Will that have a downstream effect on other things as well? Like Yu-Gi-Oh? A Yu-Gi-Oh, you're doing the same thing. The object is a card. You put a card in play, and then a playable character pops out of the card. So is Yu-Gi-Oh in copyright infringement of Nintendo? It's just it's nonsense. This is silly. That's a really good point, though. Like, what downstream effects does this have on other games? This is bad news bears for this dragon, that's for sure. I like this grasshopper. I like this grasshopper.
The other issue is that which country decides this? Every country's. You might want to switch to that guy and make him jump off.
No.
Every country's rules regarding copyright is different.
Yeah, that's another because
so if you've like an American game and then a Japanese ripoff or try a Chinese ripoff, I mean, good luck trying to get a lawsuit against them. They just will not care, and they've got such a massive population that they can just sell it to their 1.4 billion population. That literally will not affect them at all if the rest of the world ostracizes them. Like, it just will not matter. And you're losing out on a massive you can't sell to China now because they're like, well, no, we want the Chinese version. So like, what do you do with that?
One thing is an interesting note is apparently Nintendo has never lost a litigation they've engaged in.
They obviously picked them pretty smart then.
So like, but people thought that Nintendo doesn't have a case. Some of the legal YouTubers who are basically like, yeah, we'll talk about this. They're like, one thing to know is that Nintendo has never lost litigation once. They've never lost a litigation that they have engaged. They have lost litigation that was engaged against them, though. So like when they get into this, like apparently they've got a good idea of what they're doing.
You put some of the best lawyers in the world working on it, you know.
And like people thought they were being very petty about it, and I do agree, it is petty, but it also seems to be calculated and cunning in the way that what we would consider petty apparently holds legal weight in the legal world, so.
Not for Big Macs.
Oh, I can't believe that happened to McDonald's. They got fucking
Yeah, it's really funny. And the guy that did it was not even like, they're not even like a massively big. They are big now, but like that definitely boosted them. They got so much publicity from it, and they now like have chains all over Ireland. It's really, they actually have some in Northern Ireland.
I mean, I bet it became a point of pride for Ireland.
Oh, certainly for Supermax anyway.
I mean, because like, isn't the name Mac a fairly common family name in Ireland? Like, don't a lot of
it's maybe
Irish
more Scotland, but yeah, Irish and Scottish. Maybe more Scottish, but definitely. I mean, yeah, certainly MAC, maybe more Scottish, but MC and probably more common in Ireland's the prefix just O. It's like O'Donnell or O'Neill or O whatever, you know, stuff like that. So, but it's still not overly shocking that that it's called Mac. But look, listen, it's obviously done because Mac is, you know, a name that's there. I mean, the guy who made the company, I actually can't remember his name. I'm fairly certain he's not called Mac. I'll just double check that just so I'm not being, wrong. He was called, oh, actually he was called Pat McDonough. So I guess, like, you know, it's not like super wrong. It's not super different.
Man, look at all these mechs we were raking in. So we used up most of our salvage there. We have one more mission, though, so we're going to roll it over. I really like this grasshopper. You have to try this grasshopper sometime. This grasshopper,
I will.
I think it'll be your style as well. In fact, let me see if I can cheat. Oh, they won't let me. Wait. Is there a way to cheat out the repairs? I don't know if you can do it in a multi-op.
No, I don't think you can do it. You can only do it at the start of the multi-op, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah. It has to be the start of a new mission. I thought we could cheat it out. Okay, I'm gonna use. What have I? Oh, let me put these mechs away real fast. Look at all these mechs we've salvaged. Like I said, you know, using that first mission, even though we used no salvage there, just to bank it up and roll it over. Once again, big money play right there. You know, you could be big meech day one in MechWarriors. I mean, maybe not day one, but, you know, it might take you a moment to get the multi-ops. But you could be big meech pretty quickly in this game. Probably not going to be able to deploy 3. I'm going to do... I really like this archer, to be honest.
I was going to bring the other Kintaro.
And then I'm gonna bring, I'll put him in the other Marauder. There we go.
The better one.
So Dara says getting rid of qualified immunity could help a lot. Teddy Bear says, I don't know enough about that, so I'm not gonna preach it as gospel. Yeah, I don't know enough about it either. That's like too technical for me, I agree. But maybe not. Teddy Bear says, hold up, where was the trial being held? In the US, in Japan? I don't know, because they did not actually get to court. Basically,
They seeded.
Pal World did not want to go to court, so they just gave up the game mechanic and did not go to court. Crumby says, doesn't Ark have Pokeballs? That might be a question for the sheriff. Didn't you play Ark Survival Evolved?
Yeah, but I was kind of shit at it. So there is an advanced way. There's an advanced part of the game where you can store your dinosaurs, and it does ring a bell that whenever you bring them out, they're.
What about the ability to fly around on a character and then land, and then travel on the character as a land character?
Yeah, so you can jump on the back of a pterodon, or other types of pterodons, and then land and then walk around. Yeah.
Okay. So Ark might be in copyright violation of Pokemon because they have a rideable character that can go into the sky and then land and then become a land-based character.
Doesn't like a lot of games have that?
They should have copyrighted it. You know, that's what they should have done. Like, you know, they were fools to not. Oh, why am I coming into close combat when I'm like not a close combat mech? Well, time to punch him out.
I'm behind him. He's dead.
I specifically targeted my punches right onto his weapon pod. I'm surprised I was able to land the punches on his weapon pod. That actually worked out really nicely.
Nerd.
Oh, these are the urban mechs. Did we take the urban mechs for the quest, or did we take the locusts? I think you took the urban mechs. Maybe we get the urban mechs here.
We've been fighting a lot of them. We don't seem to be salvaging them.
Why are these missiles so much better than Clan's missiles?
The only annoying thing is you can't like launch them super close.
Yeah, that's true, but they're so ineffective that.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're so ineffective in Clans that like you could just like launch your shitty missiles up close. You know what? I'm just gonna ram through the walls while that's happening.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're gonna have to do that
because I don't have the you know, launching the missiles. The LRMs won't be effective.
Target destroyed.
Ooh, aerial that was because like 2%. Ooh, 3%. This is one of those really annoying bases, you can just tell.
Yeah, this is one of those bases where they want you to destroy every last molecule of the base.
Oh, we got an assault mech rolled in? Oh, it's just a shade charger, but still, yes.
I can probably launch some missiles at it while I'm smashing these. I'll probably not, actually.
I'll deal with that, I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh, he's coming after me, surprisingly.
Oh, is he? I need to deal with a spider first because he's annoying me. Okay, I punched him to death.
Yeah, these missiles are more accurate than the stand. In fact, they might be more accurate than Artemis missiles, than Clan Artemis missiles. Like the missiles in Clans are just so bad. Okay, we took out that charger.
Bruce said shit, what a potty mouth.
Alright, now we're just gonna smash through these walls. Like I said, if you have one of these bases where you need to destroy every last atom, every particle of the base needs to be destroyed, just start smashing through the walls. You do need to be at least a heavy mech to do this. Which
we actually have to like commit do nuclear fission and destroy the elements themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, there are bases where you could destroy every building, and it's like, nah, you still got a good, like, 40% to go.
We got some mechs here?
I want the salvage, so I'm gonna let him have it.
destroyed.
Hey guys, got like no legs left, basically.
Targeting updated.
I don't know what my missiles are gonna hit, but it'll hit something.
Target destroyed.
No, I can aim mine.
As I was saying, though, once again, if you have a question you want me to answer, it can be BattleTech related, MechWarrior related, or anything related. Join the Discord and submit a question there. Make sure you ping me directly, otherwise I may miss it. But I will answer them in as soon as I can, like if I could fit it into the stream, and then I will credit whoever. I will credit whoever gives me the suggestion.
I think I might have a question myself. It's something that I'm kind of interested in asking you now that I think about it. So we've been like kind of cooking on just trying to make this more MechWarrior related. So we're kind of cooking clans a little bit and calling it out for what it is, a piece of rubbish. What I'm curious is, if you yourself, Fox, were in Piranha Games headquarters and you were, you know, at the whiteboard taking ideas for MechWarrior 5's next edition or MechWarrior 6 or whatever it was going to be, what would you have done? Like, what part of the timeline would you have went for? What sort of game would you have made? What do you think would have been your next step if you had been Piranha Games and you had just released your Solaris Showdown and you're looking for the next stage?
That is a pretty interesting question. Like, what basically you're asking, like, well, you know, what move would I make to improve MechWarrior 5 essentially, or MechWarrior in general, be it MechWarrior
Like
5 or
your
another game?
Yeah, like next release or whatever it might be. I don't want to bring BattleTech into this because I kind of want to keep it like PGI related. So like BattleTech itself, of course, we'd love a new BattleTech, but since clans is a PGI only thing, it's probably best to sort of stick to that.
So I think I'll answer that next stream, just because that is an interesting question. I think that would go on pretty long, and you know we're running up on time. Let me go ahead and talk about our finances, though. So we salvaged a large quantity of battle mechs. You can see right here, all of them in there. Let's go ahead and start selling them. The Assassin, 1.1 million C. Do we need any of these? Okay, first let's do these. So, for killing the 5 spiders, 1.4 million C-bills and a tier 5 LRM-5, 5 tons of LRM ammo. For killing the 3 hunchbacks, 1.4 million C-bills, a tier 5 SRM-2, 5 tons of SRM ammo. That is level 5 on Mech Hunter. We got enhanced energy output 1. I believe that's more damage to... here we got some collect commandos, kill warriors. We need that one. And then what do you think we'll do first? Collect 2 commandos or 1 Shadowhawk?
That's 50-50.
Okay, we'll do the Shadowhawk then.
Yeah, that's 50-50. We've already did that one. We actually already did a Shadowhawk, so it's probably reasonable to suggest we'll get it again.
Let's go ahead and sell off all the mechs, and we'll see how our finances look. So the Assassin, the reason I did it in this order was just in case we picked up a mission that wanted us to give them a mech that I haven't sold it already. So the Assassin's worth 1.1 million C-bills, the Centurion 600K, the Charger basically 3 million. Chargers are, even though this Charger has been cored out, Chargers are worth a lot of money because of the massive engine. The engine increases their value quite a bit. So 3 million for the Charger, 700,000 for the Cicada, the Commando 400,000, the Dragon 1.1 million, surprising as it was cored out, but 1.1 million for the Dragon. The Griffin 1.1 million, also cored out. The Jenner 640,000, the Quick Draw 1.1 million, the Spider 500,000, the Trebuchet 1.1 million, and we will keep that Urban Mech because we need to give them Urban Mechs. Collect 2 Urban Mechs, so we will hang on to that. So after spending basically going from 40 million C-bills down to about 20 million, we are already back up to 37 million C-bills, and I haven't even sold our backstock yet, just like excessive weapons that we have collected over time. So that is looking pretty good. That is a very good question, though, Dr. Sheriff Crab, because of course, I've got ideas on what I think that would make the MechWarrior series better, especially the MechWarrior series as created by Piranha Games. But I think that is pretty good for today. So I'm going to go ahead and save, and we will continue in another episode. Before I sign out, are there any last minute questions? And I will go ahead and answer them. Let me go ahead and give you a link into the Discord in case you would like to join. We've got about 1,200 people in the Discord, so it's a decently sized community. And yeah, if you have any questions about any games or just want to chat, I do play games with people in the Discord. So yeah, feel free to join if you like. And once again, you can submit questions, and I will shout you out on the questions you ask in the next episode or as soon as I can get to it. Before I let you go, though, here is the stream schedule. So today is the 11th, a Wednesday. I always stream at 4 p.m. Eastern Time unless I decide to change that up. Thus far, I haven't decided to change that up, though. The last stream of the week, though, will be tomorrow, the 5th, a Thursday, on Twitch. We'll be continuing Generation Zero, the post-apocalyptic robot survival game. And as I mentioned earlier, I probably will be expanding additional mech content. I think I'm going to stay within the mecha niche. The reason for this is because I do believe that Piranha Games is going to shift their attention onto MechWarrior 5 Clans, which did not impress me. I don't think it is a very good game. And I think that means that we're going to lose attention on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which is going to reduce the amount of content that I'm going, it's just going to reduce the new content. So what I want to do is start expanding into other mech genres. They will not take over MechWarrior unless one of those games I play just does wild popularity. Like that would be the only exception. But they are going to be basically a ancillary addition. So perhaps I will play Armored Core 6 when a DLC comes out, and I am interested in playing Mecha Break. But as it stands, neither of them would supplant BattleTech or MechWarrior. So that is what I'm planning on doing. But yeah, I think that is pretty good. So that is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for being such a real audience. But the sheriff and I are going to dip out. So deuces, everyone. And remember that you don't have to be good to get good.